The story unfolds at a snail's pace in Your Friends and Neighbors episode 8, but it perfectly paves the way for the season's final arc. Jon Hamm's character, Andrew Cooper, manages to get bailed out of prison in the original Apple TV Plus show's latest installment. However, chaos ensues when most people who know him are left divided about his involvement in Paul's murder. While characters like Choi's wife and Sam suddenly switch sides, others like Choi, Mel, and Cooper's kids refuse to believe that he had anything to do with the murder. Your Friends and Neighbors has yet to reveal the identity of the murderer, but it seems evident that Andrew Cooper did not commit the crime. However, if the real perpetrator of the crime is not found soon, Cooper could find himself in some deep trouble. Cooper's troubles grow significantly in Your Friends and Neighbors episode 8 when he also learns that someone has taken all the money he earned by stealing from his rich neighbors. Could this mean that he will set out on another stealing adventure and risk getting caught in the show's finale? Cooper's monologue in Your Friends and Neighbors episode 8's ending explained. Cooper's monologue reflects on how far things have escalated without him realizing. In Your Friends and Neighbors episode 8's ending moments, Cooper meets his ex-wife and talks to her about how things have significantly escalated in recent days. She asks him how they ended up being in the situation they are in. Before the episode's credits start rolling, Cooper goes for a run as Mel's question keeps echoing in his head. As he looks back at everything that has happened to him in the last few weeks, he, too, wonders how things got so bad. He recalls everything from his termination to his stealing endeavors in his neighborhood, wondering if he can still turn back and rectify his mistakes. When he truly grasps how far things have escalated, he realizes it may be too late for him to rewind and fix things. Although Your Friends and Neighbors episode 8 is less about significant story developments, its final arc hints that Cooper is on the verge of breaking. Once that happens, he will start breaking bad and cross several moral boundaries to ensure his survival. Who stole Cooper's money? Elena seems to have taken it. Elena Benavides, Amy Carrero, with a fake smile in Your Friends and Neighbors Season 1 EP 7. Image via Apple TV+. After returning home from prison, Cooper looks around his house and hopes to find the money he had staked up from his thefts. However, to his surprise, the money is nowhere to be found. He initially wonders if the police found his stash and confiscated it. This thought does not stay with him long, though, because he realizes that the only concrete evidence they found against him was the gun in his car and his DNA samples at Sam's place. As the episode progresses, a scene shows Elena meeting the man who was demanding money from her brother in Your Friends and Neighbors episode 7. Elena hands him a bag full of money and asks him to stay away from her brother. The man protests, but Elena ensures she gets her word into his head. This scene makes it evident that Elena stole the money from Cooper's home soon after he was arrested and used it to pay off her brother's debt. Cooper may have no means of figuring out who took his money, but Elena might eventually tell him the truth, depending on whether she wants to team up with him again. Why Choi says he doesn't care whether Cooper killed Paul. Choi sees him as his closest friend regardless of his actions. Choi, Nick, and Cooper go out partying in the episode's final arc. After a night of fun, the three end up on a golf course, where Nick falls asleep while Cooper and Choi talk about everything that has happened to them so far. When Cooper prompts him to ask about the murder, Choi dismisses him by saying that he believes he does not even care anymore if he committed the crime. Cooper still assures him that he did not kill Paul, which helps Choi feel a little relieved. This sequence establishes that even though Choi suspects Cooper has been doing something shady to keep himself afloat, he trusts that he will never go as far as hurting someone. Deep down, he seemingly knew that Cooper was not capable of killing someone in cold blood. Still, he was afraid that Cooper might not be the person he used to know. In the light-hearted moment, Cooper takes the opportunity to tell Choi about his stealing endeavors. However, to his dismay, before Choi can hear him, he falls to the ground and dozes off. The parallels between Choi and Cooper's life explained. Both characters are questioning the lifestyle they have created for themselves. Hoon Lee as Barney Choi in Your Friends and Neighbors. Your Friends and Neighbors establishes many parallels between Cooper and Choi's narratives. Cooper was Choi's biggest client. Therefore, Cooper's financial downfall also impacts him negatively. As Cooper struggles to keep up with his family's growing demands and finds it hard to break free from the useless luxuries he has surrounded himself with, Choi, too, fails to understand how and when things got so bad for him. His wife's growing demands weigh him down, and he contemplates why he owns so much useless junk. Perhaps the only difference between the two Your Friends and Neighbors characters is that Cooper has already broken the law to ensure his survival. If Choi finds out about what he has been up to, he might either become his ally or force him to stop before it is too late. Or, if Choi's wife forces him to stay away from Cooper, he might even eventually drift away from his best friend and leave him to face the consequences of his actions alone. Why Mel defends Cooper when Sam calls him a murderer. Mel knows Cooper would never kill someone. Sam and Mel run into each other at a coffee shop in Your Friends and Neighbors episode 8's early moments. Sam initially tries to open the conversation on a pleasant note by acknowledging how they are in an awkward situation. However, Mel gives a snarky reply, which soon leads to a major escalation between the two. With what follows, Sam raises the possibility of Cooper being Paul's murderer, but Mel tries to defend him. Soon, a fistfight ensues between the two characters before Nick breaks them apart. The fact that Sam tries to put the blame for the crime on Cooper makes her suspicious, making it hard not to wonder if she is trying to protect herself. It is also interesting to see how Mel supports her ex-husband even when almost everyone seems suspicious of him. Mel's support towards Cooper in the Your Friends and Neighbors episode establishes that, despite having conflicting feelings towards almost everything, she knows Cooper well and believes he is not capable of killing someone.